So there's been a lot of talk about the new Gotham Knights game coming out. And I've been following Gotham Knights for, I would say, about the past, like, 8 years since it's been, like, announced, right? And the thing that gets me about this is a lot of gamers, with YouTube channels. I guess, I don't want to call them game journalists, not journalists. But they always have problems with Gotham Knights, and I feel like their anger is kind of, like, misguided. Because everyone wants to say that, oh, okay, you were looking at Gotham Knights, and how is it supposed to be as anywhere near as good as Arkham Knight, or as good as Arkham Asylum, or Arkham City? No one really likes Arkham Origins, which is why they never use that as a reference. But we know that these aren't the same games, so why are you guys comparing apples to oranges just because they're both a fruit, right? Why are we comparing Gotham Knights to Arkham Knight when those two aren't even the same type of game? One is built around gear scores and building your character from scratch, and the other one's built around fighting different types of enemies in different types of ways, right? And again, that just kind of upsets me a little bit, because I feel like Gotham Knights isn't going to get the chance it deserves because people are going to be comparing it to an apple when it's a fucking orange. Like I said, just because they're both Batman games, just because they're both fruit, you know? I feel like people need to, there's this thing, and it's called outrage culture. And it's based around people who just really aren't happy with anything just because it's different from something that they recognize. And I feel like that's a problem, right? I feel like people need to just calm the fuck down and see things for as they are before they just start saying that, okay, you're not this, so you're not that good. Like, I feel like you guys should start giving these games a little bit more leeway. Not even leeway, a fair shot, because of the fact that they are, you know what I mean, different from another thing. It's like saying the only game that should exist is the ones made by Rocksteady, right? It's like, that's not really, don't be like that. Don't be that guy, for real. Is that what we're doing now? And so, like I said, I've been following the games. I don't even know how good or how bad it is, but it's just the fact that people are like, well, if you look at it compared to Arkham Knight, it's like, they're not the same game. And it's not the fact that they're trying to go in the wake of, you know, the Arkham series, right? I mean, just because you are adding the Bat family and it does center around Batman and you are going around Gotham City does not make it an Arkham game, right? It's just, I just feel like that was always unfair that people are able to just come in and just say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, fuck Gotham Knights just off rip because it's not Arkham Knight. That's just like, you're just mad just to be mad at this point, because if you actually gave it any kind of logical thought, then you would understand that, yes, this isn't even made by the same developers. This is someone completely different who wants to do something different with the Bat family, which, again, that's one thing I know the Arkham series was actually lacking. You know, you can say that the challenge stages were really nice and they centered around the Bat family and shit, but like I said, I couldn't run around the city as Jason Todd, and I think that was a little unfair. I kind of want to play the Bat family in Gotham. I couldn't play Nightwing and run around the city. I could only do the challenge maps and stuff, and that wasn't really that fun to me. Again, it's nice because, again, you have to realize, again, if you think about it, Jasper, what you're doing right now is basically a challenge map. Yeah, it's fine and all, that's great, but again, like, you have to realize, with the addition of Arkham Knight came the Batmobile and all kinds of different types of ways of moving around the city. And again, you can also stop crime, you know? And it's just like, I wish that they had that kind of thing for the Bat family. I wish I could play Batgirl. She's actually one of my favorites, thanks to DC Superhero Girls that came out not too long ago. And it's just, I feel like that if you guys really wanted to up the ante on your games, you know what I mean? That is something you would want to add first, you know? It's like, yes, what makes this game next gen is that we can do something we haven't done before. Again, what has Arkham Knight done that the other Arkham games haven't already achieved? And don't say the Batmobile, because that doesn't count, man. Because it's not even really the Batmobile, it's the Bat Tank. Because it's actually easier and quicker to run around the city and use your grapple hook than it is to actually use the fucking Batmobile. So that doesn't count. They didn't achieve that any better than any other driving game. And again, it kind of reminds me of Saints Row the 4th, when you can just use your superpowers to fly and jump around the city than just use a fucking car. So that's a problem in and of itself. And then, like I said, it's like, what, the graphics? I've already said this 1,000 times. Graphics don't mean shit to me. Again, any game can look graphically good. Any game can have a AAA developer behind it. We've had a bunch of AAA developed games that suck. Remember Anthem? Yes. Again, just because you look good doesn't mean you're good. So I can't even say that even counts. I mean, what did Arkham Knight really achieve? Arkham Asylum to Arkham City? I say they did accomplish increasing the number of villains you can fight, the amount of variety and things like that, you know, and even like upping the ante on the story. And out of Arkham City and Arkham Knight, I would say that Arkham City's story is a lot more stronger because the villains actually do play a better part rather than speaking on a loudspeaker for 18 hours the entire game and then only doing like one or two things. And yes, I'm talking about Scarecrow. Scarecrow didn't really do anything that entire time. He just was on a loudspeaker the entire time saying, "Tonight you die, Batman." That doesn't make him a villain. That just means he talks a lot. There's a lot of villains that do a lot of talking, okay? And that Scarecrow was not even scary. He just stuck me with a needle and then went off and did fuck all for the rest of the fucking game. And the entire time, like I said, fighting the Arkham Knight, which I knew was Jason Todd, like off rip. Again, he wasn't even that good of a villain either. He just brought in a bunch of fucking tanks for me to fight. And he didn't really challenge me at all, really. Again, you can say that, oh, what about the fear gas and things like that, bro? None of that stuff was interesting. I guess if you really want to look at it, you could say that it was nice that, you know, Scarecrow like filled the city with fear gas at one point, and you have to help, and you know, Poison Ivy had to help you, you know, take back the city in that way. But that still wasn't that interesting to me. I did not like that at all. I feel like you could have used Poison Ivy in a better way than that. Also, Poison Ivy died, and that's also something that I really don't like either. Why do you have to kill off characters, man, to show that it's the fucking finale? Like, that's not cool, man. I never really did like that. I know that I'm in the minority from what I'm complaining about. It's just the fact that like, Arkham Knight just really was not that good, really. It was graphically good, and it was basically Arkham City, but bigger. Not better, bigger. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's good. And so then to compare Arkham Knight to Gotham Knights before even playing the game and not even understanding what the fuck they're trying to do with it, that doesn't make any sense. Well, if you look at it, they don't have the combo system. It's like that. Of course they don't. It's not that kind of game. They're not doing the free flow combat. That's not what they're doing this time. And for you to ever think that they should do that, it's fucking asinine. Again, let there be other Batman games, you know? But again, it's not that's not the thing. It's not the fact that they didn't want another Batman game. It's just the fact that it wasn't Arkham Knight, and so they're mad. It's the same thing happened with Arkham Origins. Since it wasn't made by Rocksteady, everyone was scrutinizing what was wrong with it rather than what they got right, which was fucking damn near everything. And that's what really makes me mad about the entire debacle about the whole Batman thing. Because if you guys are really Batman fans, you would be able to appreciate this for how much hard work they put into making this game as good as it was. But instead, no, it's just not this other thing, so I'm automatically gonna get mad. Like, it's stupid, man. It's fucking stupid. I feel like we can do a whole lot better as a gaming community, not to understand that different types of games can exist within the same characters, you know? I just feel like that we should be smart enough, at least. I don't feel like, that's why we can never move forward, I feel. People are too nostalgic over the past, and then when they bring the past back, it's never good enough. I feel like we could do a whole lot better as gamers, man. We should be critical not because you're not something else, but because you suck at what you're currently doing. Or because you're good at what you're currently doing. But everyone likes to be hyperbolic and like to give people shit rather than actually give them compliments. Because, for one, it gets more views, and also because people like being outraged. People love being mad at things. And so it's just like, I feel like the only reason why you're mad at Gotham Knights is because you can be, and because it's not Arkham Knight, which again, not even that fucking good. It's not. It's just graphically very nice and has most of the combat from the previous Arkham games. Which again, like I said, if you like the Arkham series and you're just gonna like Arkham Knight, I get that. But again, it's like for me, I'm saying personally for me, again, never really been a big fan of the Arkham series. And then I play the Arkham Knight, and not Arkham Knight. I play Arkham Origins, and I absolutely love it. You know. I love the story. I love the combat. I love the shot gloves. I love the story. I'm sure I said that twice. The story's actually fucking fantastic. It reminds me, actually, of the Batman. When I went to go watch the Batman in theaters, there's a lot of references here in this game that's been referenced in the Batman, and this game came out fucking 7, 8 years before the Batman came out, you know? And it's all the references to like Selina Kyle and her lineage with Falcone, Batman first starting off making mistakes as a hero, you know, some of the humorous parts of him being kind of not that good at his job, you know? The fact that Alfred is like, okay, you're doing a lot of dangerous shit right now. I don't think this is what your parents would have wanted. You know, or, you know, be more careful and things like that. And Batman really dismissing Alfred and how he feels. Like, there's a lot of things in this game that references the Batman. And again, I love this game way before the Batman even came out, which, again, also makes me like the Batman even more because it lets me know whoever wrote the Batman and made this game both know Batman's as a character. And am I saying that they don't know Batman as a character for the other Arkham series? No, because I don't really care about those stories enough to even care, because those stories are fucking slow and boring. I'm going to be honest with you. For me, at least. Again, I'm glad they had Solomon Grundy, but the Solomon Grundy fight centered around you just pressing the B button and tapping the X button. That wasn't fun. And then doing a bunch of dodge rolling. That wasn't fun. Again, I think you did a bunch of beatdowns in that one. That wasn't fun to me. Fighting Ra's al Ghul in Arkham City, that wasn't fun either. You just basically threw batarangs at fucking sand monsters inside some other world, a la Scarecrow, and then you just tapped the Y button to counter whenever Ra's al Ghul came out to fight you, and then you pressed the B button and beat him down as well. It's like, that's not really that fun. Again, I think the only fight in Arkham City that's even worth talking about is everyone's favorite boss fight that everyone talks about, which is just Mr. Freeze. But it's weird that no one ever brings up any other boss fight as a good example of what you can really do as Batman. Like, no one ever really brings up any other boss fight, because all of them are pretty much the same. It's good to see them, but it's like they're all the same. If you ever played Arkham Origins, you know the Firefly fight is different from the Bane fight. And the Bane fight is completely different from the Big Bane fight, you know? And everyone, if you've ever played any Batman game, then you know for a fact that how legendary the Deathstroke fight is. You know what I mean? This game has a lot going for it while also having a kick-ass story. Like, Arkham Origins really did not get the time of day that it needed, because people would rather have said, okay, you're not made by Rocksteady, therefore you're wrong. Because I only like games made by Rocksteady because they earn my trust, because they know what the fuck they're doing. It's like, sure. Yeah, let's go with that. But why can't anybody else, like, take up the mantle and actually try their best to do something? Like, it's just, I feel like Arkham Origins really got their shit pushed in for just not being made by Rocksteady. And I feel like Gotham Knights is getting its shit pushed in by not being made by Rocksteady either, and not being a Rocksteady game. Like, that's really not fair, man. It's really not fair to compare the two. Oh, whatever, man. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out of my system. It's just, it's weird that everything that I want to enjoy, or things that people, or things that people complain about, are things that shouldn't even be complained about just in the general sense. A good example, just off rip, before I end my rant, was basically the new Fable game. People are afraid that Fable's gonna be woke because they're saying they're making this for a more modern audience. And people are like, oh, this woke, they're making Fable woke. All right, for one, you don't care about Fable like that. That's number one. Number two, Fable has never been woke in that way, because you've always been able to do the things in the Fable series, you know, since the very beginning. Example would be, you know, gay marriage. That was always a thing. You can always marry gay people in the game. So I don't see exactly how much modern, you know, you think Fable can get when you have something like gay marriage in the game. You can marry someone of the same sex, you know what I mean, and adopt children. And that was made back in 2008, before woke culture was even a fucking thing. So what's your excuse for them making Fable for a more modern audience? What's your excuse for that? What can they possibly add that's going to make the game quote-unquote woke when they've been very inclusive since the very fucking beginning? It's just like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You just want to be mad at something. But whatever, man. What the fuck do I know, right? I just play video games and scream at a camera.